the thing at LSU that we cannot forget is this Title IX investigation is still going on, and we don't know yet the ramifications of where that's going. We've saw where the NCAA, where the Committee of Infractions handed down their decision on Bruce Pearl from Auburn, which basically a slap on the wrist. Still has not been decided about Will Wade, the LSU basketball coach. So you still got that going on too. But the bottom line, I still think one of the things that Brian Kelly would do at LSU is he will calm some of these waters as LSU gets ready to be a lot more competitive in 2022 than they have the past two seasons.
It's just a fascinating hire. So on one hand, and some of it we can only speculate because we don't know the hearts and minds of Brian Kelly and everyone involved. But here's a guy that has 12 years invested at Notre Dame. He has the program at its highest level since he's been there. They're also going into a recruiting cycle in which they had the 4th recruiting class in the country.
Yes.
So the level of talent is even increasing at Notre Dame. He seemed to be in the best position he's ever been. I don't know if he left for LSU just based out of there were indications that he was just growing a little bit stale, a little bit bored there at Notre Dame. Money, of course, speaks, and he got a substantial increase, although he was compensated rather well at Notre Dame. And then on top of that, he knows what he's getting into there in the SEC Western Division, and whether that for some people would be something you would run from and want to go hide in the Pac-12 maybe, and then maybe for others would gravitate to and say, hey, I want to, as he mentioned, and he certainly is, the money is where his mouth was in regards to I accept the challenge and I wanted to play with the best here at LSU. But it's just an intriguing decision that he made to take all this on, and the league's only going to get tougher with Oklahoma and Texas jumping on board. And what's expected of him is going to be competing for championships.
Well, and I think, Mark, that it was also interesting, as you mentioned, that he was looking for a challenge. Now, one of the things that we have heard is that that Brian Kelly's people and also Lincoln Riley's people contacted Florida to see what kind of interest that they might have. So it's pretty obvious that Kelly wanted out. And look, it's one thing to leave after a year, like Lane Kiffin did at Tennessee, but those are few and far between. That's the exception, and not the general rule. But I can appreciate that after you've been somewhere for double-digit years, that you do want to change and to challenge, and he'll certainly get that at LSU. But the thing that you mentioned is that they still have so much talent in that state, and if he can keep that talent at home, and this is like Mario Cristobal with South Florida, if they can keep the talent around them at home, they will have a very successful year just doing that part.
Notre Dame, I have always valued how they've approached scheduling. They take on a national schedule, and it's through the years it has been as difficult as anybody in the nation. But as you well know, with this contract with the ACC, it's lightened up considerably in recent years with the Dukes and the Georgia Techs and so forth. Replace those with there are no Dukes or Georgia Techs in the SEC Western Division or even in the East. And they're going to have only light touches in the non-conference, but it will be fascinating to see what ensues in Baton Rouge.